remind her that I know some dirty little secrets about her family that she'd like to remain that way.
What secrets? Secrets of the morning. Hi there, and welcome to another episode of 411 Pop Culture, where real people talk about really everything. I'm Justin, this is Danielle, and tonight we are going to watch Dawn Part 2, Secrets of the Morning. Super excited. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I cannot wait to see Joey McIntyre.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he's going to play it out. He's not what I thought of as Michael, but we'll see. The preview looked interesting, so I'm excited. But also, there was a lot, I just want to clarify that I really did like about Dawn, and I've been seeing a lot of your comments, and I want to explain that I've tried to respond to each and every one of them, and I will continue to try and respond, but I have been noticing that, my notifications don't always show me. I'll see after the fact. I'm like, well, how did I miss this one? How did I miss that one? So I will try to get to all your comments. If I've missed any, I try to keep looking and just to make sure, but I really do appreciate hearing from all of you from this community. It is so awesome, and I know a lot of you were really excited and enjoyed Dawn. With obvious, there were certain things that, we all were a little annoyed with or this, but overall, I thought it was really good.
I absolutely loved it. It's probably one of my favorite adaptations so far.
I agree, and I think, for me, probably the best part was Donna Mills as Lillian Cutler. Louise Fletcher will always be my number one mean grandma. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yes.
But Donna Mills is a very, very close second.
Yes.
I thought she did fantastic. It was a slightly different twist on the choices that Ellen Burstyn made, or even Louise Fletcher in some ways. Donna Mills, also though, with her experience in General Hospital and soap operas, is cookie cutter meant to be, somebody like Lillian Cutler. So I just was really excited. But I thought overall the casting was good. I thought the story, they did a good job. Obviously, they can't include everything. It's an adaptation. We know this. But overall, I thought they did a good job.
I think they put in what needed to be put in.
Yeah. And now I did want to make a comment too. We were talking about the weird cat thing. I just personally, the one thing I did have an issue with was that cat. Because based on the prequel, I don't think Lillian would ever hurt a cat, because of Eugenia and what happened with Eugenia.
Or it makes her snap.
Sure, but it didn't in the novel, and okay. I feel like at the time she was so devastated herself. She loved that cat too. And because of her whole, how she feels about Eugenia and stuff, I just can't see her ever doing harm to a cat. But, I'm sure it was just something to make her look a little worse. I don't know if they're going to end up doing something with it.
I remember it distracted me, that whole scene.
It did, yeah. But I'm excited, and I'm excited to watch Secrets of the Morning. It was my favorite of the Dawn Cutler novels, and I'm excited to see how it all goes. But we won't keep you any more suspense. We'll get started now. As always, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, it helps a lot. Please subscribe. Please give us a thumbs up, and please comment below and let us know what you thought of Secrets of the Morning, which we'll get started with right now. But I do want to remind everybody, spoilers. Obviously, we're going to be watching this for the first time, so there'll be spoilers, but also for the novels. But I just want to make sure people know that, because we love the novels and we're going to talk about them. But I did just notice it said TV 14. The last part, somebody brought up, it's chatting-esque, so thank you again. And I had noticed it, but I didn't think about it. Clarifying 1973.
I like that.
It said PG. That's why they probably didn't have the whole Phillips scene.
Ah, right, okay.
Because they had wanted to keep it PG.
Yep.
But this says TV 14 on whatever we're watching now, so it'll probably be a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
But we think that might be why they took out the Philip thing.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, Fran Drescher.
Oh, I left on the sidewalk. I wanted to make sure this was the right. Be gone in 30 seconds.
And it's funny because, when I read this, and this came out in the 90s, I read this in the 90s, Fran Drescher was never who I would have thought of as Agnes. She was definitely the nanny during those times. So, but I think it's a good choice so far. I can see it.
Realize that I only let these rooms that way in 46.
I like that they clarified 1973.
Yes, I do too.
I don't know why they didn't in the first one, but
My love.
Maybe it wasn't as pertinent to the plot in the first one, but it is here based
Sure,
on how she's dressed and all of those
Actually,
things.
bravo when the thespian is female. Now, I want you to know that I
Is that you?
from your grandmother.
maybe a little.
You.
Told me how much difficulty you have.
I'm excited to see Trish.
Yep.
She's definitely one of my favorite characters.
This is how I picture the room too. They're doing a really good job with the sets.
I see it. Yeah. I didn't have a huge thing in my mind, but no, I see it. Yeah. But no, Trish was always a nice character because, you know, so often their roommates are terrible.
Yes.
So it was a nice, like, okay, here's somebody who's going to be like,
well, that's because every other horrible thing happens to Donna. At least give her a nice roommate.
It's true. It's so true.
Perfect. You nailed it. What's your name? Dawn.
She's not really what I pictured for Trish, but I can already tell the energy's right.
Yeah.
I'm a spoiled daddy's girl from upstate New York. I like... Holy crap, have you seen The Exorcist? No. I'll see it again just to watch your face.
Well, we know why they put the 1973 on there.
Yeah.
Actually, the truth is I've never been to the movies. I've never had a TV. Holy moly, what are you, Amish?
Justin would be like, project!
Seriously, I would be so excited. I'd be like she said, I want to show you The Exorcist. I want to see your reaction.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I love reaction videos, because I love seeing people's reactions. And it's like getting to watch the movie for the first time again with them.
Yes, it is.
Which is what I hope you all feel. You know, I hope you've seen this already, and now it's like you want to watch with Danielle and me.
Happy for a
And
while.
she is a perfect Dawn.
She really
I
is.
really am liking her. I meant to say that at the beginning, I'm so focused on Lillian,
Yeah.
but Dawn, everybody so far has, I thought, did a really nice job.
I mean, even minus the hair things with the moms,
Sure.
even the actresses still really invoke
Yeah.
how I would have pictured them. The actors have done a fantastic job. And I actually like this Dawn better than the one I pictured when I read
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
novels.
Well, and I've noticed, too, a lot of people out there are agreeing on the comments that, like, even because they're getting some things a little off, but it doesn't matter because these performances have been so well, or it's making up for it. So they've been, like,
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, you know, torn.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's okay to enjoy it because they're doing a really good job. Like, the people and everything. And
the characters fit.
And again, the one nice thing about the ghostwritten stuff is each book typically takes place over 1 year, so they really can fit everything instead of trying to squish 10 years of one book into one movie.
Which is just too much.
Right.
Again,
I love Petals on the Wind. It's my favorite of all the V.C. Andrews novels, and I loved the adaptation, but it was so squished. It really felt like the highlights of Petals on the Wind.
And nobody wants the cliff notes of Petals on the Wind. We want the full
Right,
thing.
exactly. I mean, they're definitely amping up the time in the 70s, and I don't know that that's really needed, but I'm fine with it. I know somebody said that they were pretty distracted by the 70s look. It's a lot. Like, I'm seeing it right now, really a lot, but I guess I'm okay with it.
I don't dislike it.
Cool.
I mean, I think that's something that they're giving us that we don't necessarily have in the novels. We know they're from back then, but we don't truly... They're not really in a time period for us when you're reading the novel, so I like how they've kind of brought that in.
Well, and I think it's probably how they could sell it to Lifetime. Like, you know, it gives it, each Lifetime movie has to have sort of an angle.
Yeah.
And
a street cop. So I have to say a couple words, young lady. Now, why don't you tell me where you really were? Just know that I am accountable to your grandmother. I can't have you coming a sign-out sheet exclusively for you. Steal the letter and see what else is in it.
I feel like that was all in there, wasn't it? In the book, I feel like that's pretty accurate.
Hey, what's going on? Michael Stein was going to be teaching in the fall semester.
I'm not sure why they decided to make him so blonde. Like, not even, like, it's not like, it's not like they got the wrong hair color in, like, having casting somebody who's right. It's not like his hair's really blonde, so I don't know why they chose to make him so blonde. I feel like in the novels he's supposed to have dark, curly-ish hair, which I'm fine if you want to cast a blonde actor, but this actor wasn't really that blonde, so why make it so blonde?
Oh, I think there'll be a whole lot of talking. I remember this girl. She came home too late one night. We all wondered what happened to her. Look at all those posters.
And I just want to let everybody know, I hope, we're not taking up too much of the screen. I guess we're down here to the picture you're seeing. But it was a nightmare trying to get part Dawn up. So I'm doing my best to be able to get this to you as quickly as possible. It takes a lot of work to get this to you, trust me.
Okay, funny. She's hated me since I was born. And ever since I was sent home, she's hated me even more. I have tried with her, Trisha.
Well, we know why.
I was just in my head going, we know why. Oh my gosh, get out of my head. I almost didn't want to say.
And I will say it was a good thing from the ghostwriter, created so that you would think it's because of just Laura having an affair, Laura Sue. But there's actually even more of a reason, and
Yes.
I did always appreciate that from Andrew Dieterman. Like it was a good twist upon a twist.
I love those shoes.
Yeah, and I really am enjoying Trish. I did see her in the Next On when we watched like the preview for this, and I was sort of like, oh, it doesn't really look like her, but I'm going to give her a chance, and I am enjoying her. She's very much how Trish was, you know, carefree and a little over the top.
What are you doing here? We're taking a family cruise out of the port up here. Aren't you in school right now? We're Cutlers. Who is this ridiculously charming girl?
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, this is my sister, Clara Jean Cutler. Oh,
Clara Jean.
The famous Clara Jean. Don tells me you're in Glee Club there? Choir. Can't be as good as Donna. What the hell would you know? It's just that Dawn goes to the exclusive Bernhardt School for the Arts.
I don't remember any of this being in the book, but I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
That bitch needs to be put in her place.
Try to find something to limb up.
Because she is the worst.
She is the worst. She's a contender.
I liked it. I liked it
too. And I do feel like there was some sort of scene where the family did come to visit or something.
I do too.
And I feel like maybe Trisha did say something to Clara Sue, but that was great.
You get used to it. Gee, Dawn.
It solidifies their friendship, knowing like this is going to be a lifelong thing.
Have you seen anything on Broadway? Mother has an issue with it. You can remind her that I know some dirty little secrets about her family that she'd like to remain that way. My goodness. What secrets?
Secrets of the morning.
Your grandmother's decisions are final, Dawn. And she's been a bit frail lately. I don't know any secrets. I don't know every secret, that's true.
She knows the secrets of the morning.
You know, and that's the thing I will say, as much as we always say Dawn was maybe a little too sweet in the novels and how these adaptations so far brought out the niceties part, I do feel like she was pretty much always like this with her, this part of the family. You know, kind of like no nonsense, like not wanting to live in the dream world they've created.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's pretty accurate.
You and grandmother.
Well, and Clara Sue really doesn't know anything.
Correct. Nor Philip.
Yeah. Lillian and I. Do you like your secrets?
Well, and this is good too. Remember I said last time I wish there had been a little bit more between these two, because in Twilight's Child they kind of have a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a good one, but they have one.
Yeah. She puts up with
Lillian
it.
will do anything to keep the Cutlers. Tell me my father's name. I am not. That man was evil. His name should be blotted out, do you understand? I will never.
We're bringing it out a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it's all going to play out.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Because they have been putting hints within this, and I like that.
And I am sort of wondering, I made a joke last time about, but I'm wondering if maybe if this does well, if they're doing something like The Meadows, The Origin. I'd watch it.
I would.
As long as they don't kill people that need to be alive
right.
for much later sequels. But otherwise, I would definitely be for it. And I remember this was in there,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he went in the army or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There you go. But you're right. Yeah, you remember that. I couldn't remember. Score, Danielle.
Well, I mean, why would he just stay there and see her whenever he could? I mean, he has to do something with his life.
No, you did well.
It's admirable.
Yeah, but again, Jimmy in the novels did tend to start to, he didn't bug me so much by here, but Twilight's Child, I'm curious to see how they play it.
I didn't dislike him as much as you did in
Twilight's Child, he really, really bugged me a lot. Especially when it came to the Fern stuff. But like, just you have Dawn. Yeah, you have Dawn, who's never lied to you, never had any reason to be jealous. Why would you not, you know?
Yeah.
like you give because of all the lies Fern tells, he would believe, you would want to be on her side and believe it, but like you also have to believe Dawn, who's never lied to you, you know, like.
Right.
Anyway, that's future. That'll be next week's. We'll see how they do it. But the looks on this one are really good, and it's interesting. I wonder how much we would comment on the character looks in these ones, like Ruby and these, if they hadn't done like really messed up the Castile series.
Yeah.
But you know, because in Flowers of the Attic and Castile and all that, the looks were so important. They were important in the later ones, but not quite so. But ironically, Ruby was great.
Yeah.
This has been great with the looks. And it is kind of a bummer that any good the Castile series did was eclipsed by the fact that even if the acting was good, the look was so wrong for like
so
heaven.
Wrong.
And again, the girl was sweet, did nothing wrong herself, but she wasn't the right look, you know, and it's so important. It takes away from everything. You can enjoy it.
It's like the books are literally playing out in front of me.
Exactly.
Where Heaven, the Castile series, it couldn't.
Exactly.
Because the hair was so wrong.
Yep.
I mean, he was my brother. He's not anymore.
Could you imagine somebody telling you that?
Trisha's like,
It's just an addition, Trisha. I don't need to fool
I'm glad we're here already.
Yeah.
I'm going from this side. I'm on this too. I was planning on singing Amazing Grace. I prefer to sing a cappella.
Because it's non-copyrighted or it's in the public domain.
Can't talk for this part.
You can, because it's in the public domain.
Oh, okay. Do you remember what she sang in the book?
I think Over the Rainbow again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, like we said last time, this is more how I thought Dawn's voice would be.
Yes.
I never thought it would be like a Judy Garland Over the Rainbow type of voice. But yeah, Amazing Grace, I'm 99.9% is in the public domain, so they can, you know, they don't have to pay for it, I believe. And hence why we should be able to talk and you can hear it and we'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Please step forward. 3 of you were very good. However, the remaining students behind you will be my class this semester.
That sucks to be one of 3.
I know, right?
20 of you are accepted, 3 of you gotta go. Yeah, no, I like her outfit.
I was just thinking that. Stay out of my head. I'm like, I'm loving this 70s costumes. And
oh, well, maybe here's where they'll...
Yep.
Yeah. Because this one is TV, it said 14.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Jimmy, this is Trisha, my best friend in the entire world. Just Jimmy.
And sorry, everybody, if I keep looking awkward, the way I have to sit so I could be on camera for this, my leg is starting to cramp up, so I have to survive through this.
Well, here it comes. Yeah, I guess he did come back after he was in the army for
something,
a bit.
maybe.
I feel like, yeah. Now comes the awkwardness.
And he had a little room. Yeah. No, that's right. She did make out with him for a moment in front of everybody last episode.
Can't you just go AWOL?
I don't know. So.
I don't feel like Dawn would have said that.
No, I don't know. She might have. But for me, I'm just saying, like, it is, again, when you read it, it's one thing. When you see it, it's another thing. Oh, I'm sure she's going to get in trouble with Agnes.
Yep.
I think that was a thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's worth getting in trouble for.
So really in the morning with your brother?
Mm-hmm.
My brother. People still frown on stuff like that. Okay.
Maybe she falls in love with him when he starts singing. I mean, in the adaptation, because he doesn't look like the Michael Sutton I picture.
No.
But maybe the singing will.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Although so far in these little scenes they've shown, he looks better than the random moments they kind of picked out. But
yeah.
Again, and no offense to Joey McIntyre, but he's just so much older. Like Michael was supposed to be, I think, like 30.
Yeah.
You know, early 30s tops.
At Willowdale Gallery.
This did
It's supposed to
happen.
be amazing. I think you should come.
I'd be thrilled.
Although one thing about his age in this is that it will work for the adaptation of Midnight Whispers, you know.
Yes.
Not that he looks bad now per se, but the age, you know, he'll
Yeah.
definitely look.
Love Jimmy.
I don't know, Don.
I love how she can pull hair off like that.
Mhm.
Chicks on the box.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wore my hair like that. I should be like in the movie, like Where's Baby Jane or something. Like,
Whatever happened to Baby Jane.
yeah, I can't think of it.
No, I've seen you with pigtails before. You look cute.
Oh, you're sweet. Yeah, I thought I remembered him being like with another woman.
It's getting a little fuzzy for me. I read Secrets of the Morning about a year ago.
Yeah.
I may have read it like 3 or 4 times at least, but yeah, I kind of remember something like that because it's probably like a good beat for him. Like,
Yeah.
Idiot of the universe. You guys usually bring other girls here on dates in the big city.
In Paris, I'm sure they do. And in certain parts of Utah, of course. And
I was so humiliated. I just stood there.
I really like Trish.
Mm-hmm.
You can always have hope.
Mhm.
Singing together is very powerful.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I am
And
too. I'm
I
glad
mean,
they did it.
It was like one of the things that bodes well for his casting, you
Yes.
know, that he would be able to sing. But it does add a charm to this
It
story
does.
that is needed. Oh, there you go.
It almost reminds me of like Kathy and Julian,
Sure.
like wanting to really see them dance
Performing,
together on
absolutely,
stage.
absolutely.
Like, I'm glad we got a little
Well,
bit
it's,
of
even
this.
with like Ruby and getting to see her paintings,
Yes.
if you want to see that stuff come to life,
Yes.
and this was great too. But he sure did just kiss a student there.
Yes, he did.
At my house tonight with some really interesting cocktail party. And by probably, I mean definitely.
They won't hear it from me.
Well, and that's right. I think she, even if I remember correctly, in the novel keeps most of it
Yes.
from Trish.
Yeah.
Like, because like when everything happens,
Mhm.
Trish was pretty surprised.
Sing Alan and what?
Uh,
Yeah, here she's making
Right.
no.
And I think that's right. I think I remember that.
Yeah, we just struck up a conversation.
I will say for the character Dawn again, it's heartbreaking because she's the only one that never really gets to taste the fame that
Yes.
Kathy had.
Uh-huh.
Ruby got, you know, even Heaven was a success as a teacher, which
And,
was Heaven's
Standard
dream.
Voice Owner.
Well, sure, but her dream, you know, everyone had sort of a dividing thing. Heaven was great in her history with Tatterton Toys, but she wanted to be a teacher. That was her dream. Dawn's the only one who kind of doesn't really get her dream because of the hotel.
Yeah.
She gets to still sing on occasion, but so it's heartbreaking
Yeah.
when she's saying lines like, "This is where I'm meant to be." So,
Mhm.
well, the good part with his casting too, being maybe a little older than he should have been in the novels, was you see more of the inappropriateness of it.
Yes.
You know,
I was thinking that too. I'm getting an
Yeah.
ick.
right?
Which in the books, you don't really get an ick.
Correct.
Because he's a younger
And you are
artist.
sort of like
Yes.
almost like, oh, well, what about Michael now? You know,
Mhm.
like there was Philip that didn't work out. Jimmy, but now what about Michael? You know, it's always like that with
Yeah.
like Kathy and Julian to Paul to Bart, some bad, some good, whatever it might be.
Aren't you?
But here you can see the sort of,
Yeah.
you know, not that it's like grotesque here looking or
No.
anything, but you can see the difference in their age
Yeah.
enough. And yeah, it is almost as uncomfortable as watching some of the incest, which is again when you all the years we wanted to see the incest. Once I finally saw them, I'm fine, it's whatever, but I am always sort of like a little uncomfortable. And this is close to what we would have saw if they had included Paul in Petals on the Wind. So manipulative.
Mhm. Well, maybe that's why they didn't have her go all the way with Jimmy.
Sure.
It showed a little bit of the frustration to show why she kind of
Right. But again, I'll say I really feel like that's a lot how I would have felt if I had seen the Paul stuff
Mhm.
with Kathy. Like,
Yeah.
it would have been tricky because she is so young.
And let me tell you, Alvin knows how to kiss a girl.
Alvin.
Yeah, I remember that happening though.
Mhm.
Yeah, she like called him.
Does Alvin? No. He's definitely not a chipmunk.
I miss you every day. Love, Jimmy.
She's in quite a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
Right. But as I was saying last time, this is what I remember.
Yeah.
Like when I got this book, it was Christmas break and the snow was happening. So I remember reading these moments at Christmas, and I was like, oh, like, you know, you can really relate because you're feeling that. It was just such a guilty pleasure.
I'm not hating it right now.
No. Sorry, I just kind of dozed for a minute or dazed because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm watching Secrets of the Morning come to life.
Yes.
Like, just so a thrill for me right now. Like, I kind of gave up that this was ever going to happen, you know? Ruby was in talks for years. Of course, they would do the Castile series. But the Cutler, I felt like, didn't get talked about ever.
Really skippy.
If you come out, I promise you an even bigger surprise.
Okay, now he's creepy again.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my heart's about to break.
Yep.
Although the only thing I wish was a little bit different about Secrets of the Morning is that you don't really see Lillian as much.
Yeah.
Or, you know, ironically, if he didn't do all that he does, he would have been okay in life being with Cutler, you know, marrying into the Cutler family and all the money troubles he has later on. Like, ironically, if he hadn't been a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm really not looking forward to the next part with the Meadows.
Sure. At the same time, I am. I want to see how it's all going to come to life, but I get what you're saying, like, knowing how bad.
Because it's terrible, but, like, I want to see it played out in my eyes.
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
My vision.
Yeah. Oh, and that's right. I think because Trish doesn't know she's with Michael, she ends up, like, saying something like, oh, Michael's gone, or whatever. You know, if I remember correctly, it's something to that effect. Catching Dawn off guard completely.
Well, but she just said, like, maybe it's time you tell Alan.
Oh,
so
no,
she
exactly.
Still
Oh, well, there he is. Never mind.
Oh, what are you doing here?
The best news ever. You thought I'd be upset, didn't you? Really not.
And this was, I'm pretty sure, how he was in the book.
I agree.
Having my child, our child. How could I be anything but over the moon?
Awful.
Yep.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. He's gone now.
I remember reading that in the novel, just feeling awful, like, panic.
Yep. Yeah, and she was in this terrible accident, too. Like, it's like you think about it, but, like, it was terrible.
Right.
There
she is. I'm so glad to see her. Even though she's being awful and terrible, like, I'm just excited to see her again. Like, she's doing such a good job.
You'll be taken care of better than you'll be taken care of anywhere else. And
she'll be taken care of better than anything. Oh, Lillian.
You can't make me go anywhere. You save your pity for yourself.
There's the Lillian I remember.
Sure. But of all the prequels, it was always the hardest for me to see how Lillian became this Lillian. But think about Donna Mills' performance. You could almost see how she did become this Lillian. And those words have a different kind of weight. You know, you definitely can see it.
And let the hell begin. I forgot about Luther.
Yeah.
And Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, like all of Darkest Hour just came back to me.
Yeah.
Not quite as I would have pictured it, but I'm okay with it.
I actually think so. You know, I think it is a lot how I pictured it. It's hard because it seems like it's so close to the road and stuff, but if you think about it, it's just modernized. But I'm trying to put it back into Darkest Hour time, and I think it.
Emily, you were to address me as Miss Emily. Understood?
It's kind of like the kids coming to Foxworth Manor right here.
Sure, yeah, but, you know, and I don't know if it's exactly what I pictured of Emily, but definitely the attitude so far.
We have no telephone. It's fine without electricity as well.
No, I'm seeing it so far, even though it's been like 2 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you will have to be purified.
Mm.
Now, let me feel your belly. I'm sorry. You want to sleep now?
So far, so good, Emily.
We're up with the sun here.
And that's the I remember we went to look for like our first time seeing cast. We couldn't find anything on Emily. She was only in there for a snippet of the trailer we saw. So I've been most probably curious about her.
That room is how I pictured it.
Yeah, and that's definitely spot on.
God, I love seeing this come to life.
Yeah. Well, they did a good job, like we said last time, with Dawn's room at the Cutlers, with the where she was staying for most of it. Oh.
Who are you? Men like us deserve our punishment. Thanks.
Remind me, what happened to her baby?
Well, I think it was hers and Luther's, if I remember correctly. So nothing really, but Emily told her that and made her believe that, and then one day he was just gone. But I believe in Midnight Whispers. He pops up. He's a character that's kind of hanging around, that kind of talks to Christy for a little bit, and scares Fern.
Yep.
The sins of our fathers.
I'm
used to it.
Yeah, I remember this side of Charlotte, but I want to see she's super sweet
She
too.
is sweet,
yeah.
Well, she's scared right now.
Yeah, but this is exactly right. Yep. That little outfit and everything.
In the state you're in, I suggest you get to work.
I mean, it's right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
The house looks musty and just how I picture it.
Like, and her hair's a little shorter than I thought, but it's still like somehow styled right. The kind of page boy cut off, just slicked back.
Okay.
She's Emily.
And it's awful again, but it's good. It's like, yes, it is coming to life. Like you said, it's amazing to watch it come to life.
I remember them having a big front porch. I guess that's what's throwing me off, but the house is good.
Less wickedness in the world is a benefit to us all.
I can't remember if it was the story or one story. I remember there's something where I think she gave her something to drink.
Yeah.
Like as a punishment. Like for not eating or something, or for eating something she should, like, that wasn't approved by Emily.
I think it was Dawn.
I think so too,
Yeah.
but
I would love to see Darkest Hour played out here, though.
That's what I mean. It's like that long porch or thing. It's obviously been updated to the 70s, but like I was trying to see it as like a plantation back in the day, and I again, we haven't seen it in like a full shot or anything, but so far for me, it's pretty much what I thought. I mean, you're probably right. There was probably a porch or certain things. For me,
we're not seeing the whole house.
Right,
either.
and for me, the essence. I want to see the essence of the story, and that provides the essence of it for me. Yeah, and Luther in his truck. I mean, that's not,
It sure will sound like Lillian.
Oh, that almost reminds me of the house they use in If There Be Thorns.
Yeah.
For Corinne's house, I mean.
This is where she's eating something she shouldn't be.
There it is. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, okay. Right. I wouldn't be surprised if this is successful, that we're going to see the Meadows, the origin. Oh, Eugenia, yeah, in the wheelchair, yeah. Which I don't believe they really said too much. I'll have to rewatch Dawn, the adaptation, but I don't remember, and they didn't really tell her about Eugenia too much. Like Lillian, the whole reason she was named was after her sister.
Yeah.
But I remember that's being more of why Lillian was so adamant about it. Oh yeah, this is right.
Yep.
Which is fine. I guess they wouldn't need to do it in the first part, knowing there's going to be the second part where they can kind of...
Yeah.
And so far throughout, you get a little bit more. You don't have to shove everything into the first one. As far as Eugenia.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, this, with all the ghost-written novels, was definitely one of the most V.C. Andrews-esque, the sort of being secluded in a southern gothic setting, the isolation and all that.
She's going into Lillian's room, right? Or
maybe. Or this is the attic, yeah. Or it's Charlotte's room, I don't know.
Like Charlotte said, the child was the devil's spawn. Took a single breath and promptly died.
Devil's spawn, I love the reference.
Send it back to Satan. trying to cause a miscarriage, haven't you? You think my baby is evil, so you starved me and over.
Yeah, Emily is a true villain of the series. And I think when we think of the colors, we do think of grandmother Cutler, Lillian, but Emily definitely makes her mark, you know. Ooh.
Well, now I've remembered where Charlotte came from.
Right.
All that kind of came back too.
Mm-hmm.
Kill it.
And the awfulness continues.
Emily says to drink this. Get your strength back. They named me Junior. And I was born. Oh, I like Dawn much better for you.
Say they're good. I'm glad we got to see some of Charlotte's sweetness. It would just be so awful. I mean, it was awful in the novel, but seeing it too, it's just awful and sad.
Move out of the way, Emily.
It is one of my favorite little moments.
Do you take me for a murderer? And I feel bad for the devil. Imagine spending forever in hell with you.
Love it.
Battered hair. Had another kid.
What?
Boy.
Another lone.
Gavin.
I choose you. Cutler's booth.
Okay.
Nah, but would she have made the same choice if Michael wasn't a jerk?
Yep.
You know?
We'll never know.
Right?
Lillian.
It's just the strangest thing. Mother's never been sick a day in her life. I have to make sure everything's in order by the time she gets back. Did you know produce has gone up 10%?
Done.
Okay, Randolph. There he is.
Yeah, it's him.
And there he goes.
Family should be together in times like this.
Lillian? Where is she? Tell me where she is. Why did you turn my baby?
That'd be so terrible. I mean, we know how it all goes, but it would just be so terrible in that moment. I remember reading that, like, how is she going to find her?
Yeah.
But we still have a bit more to learn.
Yes, we do. Randolph.
Yeah. Much better as a Randolph than Troy. But he's so right for it, for Randolph.
Mama doesn't like wearing black. Does she?
Oh my goodness.
Really, with this cat?
Stuffed cat part 2.
No one changes quicker than you, Mother. No wealthy suitor's gonna want to marry a woman with a baby. Get yourself a cat. As of today, they're allowed in Europe again.
Again, I feel like it was supposed to be some sort of callback to what happened in the prequel with the one cat, but I just don't think that Lillian would ever have done that because of what happened in the prequel.
I have all the information you need. I found, but to be absolutely clear, the child William and Laura Jean conceived is Dawn. It was William's wishes that Dawn be the recipient of 60% of his property and holdings. Meaning, to put it simply, no matter how Lillian's 40% is divided, Dawn is now the majority owner of Cutler's Cove.
What are you talking about?
I love it.
She didn't even know she was a Cutler for most of her life.
I loved it in the novel. I love seeing it here.
I'm going to find my daughter. Something you never bothered to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
This isn't fair. You listen to me. She's not Cutler. Anyway, this place.
Let's go get Chris.
I am liking her and Jimmy right now.
Right, so far, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have
It doesn't feel weird.
The only time I really have issues with him super much is in Twilight's Child.
Yeah.
But these are the parts I really like, Jimmy.
All right, so what'd you think?
It keeps getting better. So as we continue to watch these and the novels really play out, They're doing a fantastic job. And, like, we commented during the show, too, but I think it's the casting.
Yeah.
It's making it so wonderful that even, like, the little changes and things like that don't bother me at all. I actually enjoy them.
That's what I was going to say. Even if there are some, like, differences, because they're doing such a good job with the cast is doing a great job, it helps to make you forgive a lot of other things. I will say, too, it makes me think, like, obviously the first adaptations, most of us, I know me, I was so excited that Flowers of the Attic was being done in 2014 and Petals on the Wind came out so soon after. But it's sort of this, like, bittersweet that you almost wish, now that they seem to kind of have gotten their stuff together, and they're in their stride, you kind of wish you could see what they could have done then, now with those adaptations. You know, realizing something like Garden of Shadows needed to be made into a 3 or 4 part series. Petals on the Wind, I keep thinking of that, like how well that would have done, and that's demonstrated through these. Again, they benefit from, they can be in one single 88-minute movie because so much less happens, or it happens in a way that's almost structured to be a movie. And I have a feeling, you know, Andrew Niederman at the time had been a few of his works, like, I don't know if Devil's Advocate had been done at this point, but I know a few others like Pin and The Maddening had been done. So I almost think that he wrote Ruby, he wrote Dawn with like from a cinematic place, allowing them, knowing that they would be adapted. Whereas V.C. Andrews, Virginia Andrews, her novels really were about the story. They weren't necessarily made to be adapted. Even though we love the adaptations, they're meant to be a good story, whether it takes place over 20 years, The ghost-written stuff is more designed. Each book is almost a year in the person's life. That being said, I also thought it was a really great adaptation. I wish we could have seen Lillian more, but again, that is Secrets of the Morning. She really isn't in it that much, but Emily, I thought was great.
Spot on.
And I'm glad we did get to see the sweeter part of Charlotte, but as I'm like sort of it's coming back, I do believe in Secrets of the Morning Charlotte's character was a little bit more too afraid at first because Emily's around, and it was once Midnight Whispers, after Emily's gone, Charlotte could be lighter, and she was living a happy life with Luther. And I would, again, as we said throughout the episode, I wouldn't be surprised if this is successful, we end up seeing some sort of The Meadows, The Origin, or Part 1, 2, 3. I kind of would too. Again, Darkest Hour I think might be my favorite of all the prequels. It's so sad and tragic, but somehow beautiful and horrible, and very V.C. Andrews, especially the Southern Gothic aspect, which was so the original author. But yeah, I thought it was a great adaptation. Secrets of the Morning was my favorite of the Cutler series, but I'm very much looking to Twilight's Child. Speaking of which, we tried to find a trailer or something. We were going to add that like we did last time with Secrets of the Morning, so you can see our first time to that too, but we were trying different places to find it, and it doesn't seem to be there, or at least not on our end, anywhere that we could see, so we'll probably be going into it blind, because I'll probably avoid any trailers throughout the week, unless I'm super tempted. You can't help it sometimes. But was there anything else you kind of wanted to...
No, I think all my comments were with while we were watching it.
Yeah, me too, I agree.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, tell us then, what did you think about it? Were you all pleased or unhappy with Secrets of the Morning? Are you looking forward to Twilight's Child? As always, if you're enjoying these, it helps a lot. Please subscribe, please comment below, and please give us a thumbs up. And we'll see you next week for Dawn, Twilight's Child.
We need the air on. That intro was brutal.
Even if it's not right, it's always hot when it's not. So
I'm hot, and you're not.
And if you want to give with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that. All right. Can't not let me do it till I can top that.
John Amos